Hey, I want to give you some tips on how to use the GoPro Wi-Fi remote. The Wi-Fi remote is a really cool accessory to have because it allows you to control your camera without being able to reach it. The remote maintains a connection with the camera for up to 600 feet in optimal conditions. It's probably a little less in most places. If you are in the middle of nowhere, your remote will still work. It's actually just communicating between the remote and your camera, so you don't need a Wi-Fi connection from an outside source. And the remote is waterproof up to 10 feet deep. I've used it a lot in surfing and water sports and never had any problems with it. I'm using the remote here today with the Hero 3 Black Edition, but it works the same with the Silver and White editions, and it's also compatible with the Hero and Hero 2 cameras if you have the Wi-Fi backpack. The first thing you're going to want to do is to charge your remote. So to charge your remote, first you turn it over to the back side and you slide this tab over to remove the metal attachment key. And be sure to hold on to that. And insert the remote charging cable that came with your remote. Make sure the other end's plugged into a USB port. And then it'll give you you'll see the display screen showing the charging of the remote, and it'll show the status of the battery. Once it's done charging, simply turn it over, remove the remote charging cable, and make sure you put back in the metal attachment key, especially if you're going in the water. Okay, the next thing you want to do is to set up the connection between your camera and the Wi-Fi remote. So the first thing we're going to do is to turn on the camera, set up the Wi-Fi on the camera, turn it on and scroll through the menu items by pushing the mode button until you get to the wrench. And then select that, scroll through again until you get to wireless controls, and select that. It's going to show that your Wi-Fi is off, so you're going to select that and scroll down to Wi-Fi RC, which is the Wi-Fi remote control. Push the top shutter button to select, and we're going to set up a new connection. So go to New and push the top shutter button again to select, and it's going to start looking for your Wi-Fi RC. You can see the light came on. That means that the Wi-Fi on your camera is on. So now we're going to turn on the remote and set up the initial connection. So to do that, hold down the red circle and push the mode button to turn the remote on. That's going to get it to start looking for your camera. And keep holding down the red circle until there's a check mark on your camera and the remote says one camera is connected. If you haven't connected to a remote before, it'll just instantly go to would you like to connect another, and you can scroll down and say no. This one's searching for another camera right now, so we're going to push the red button to say we're done searching. And now it's going to show the exact dialog screen that's on the camera. So now the Wi-Fi remote and the camera are connected. So to use the Wi-Fi remote with the camera, basically it's just an extension of the camera, and you can see that on the LCD screen it matches exactly what's on the LCD screen of the camera. You can use the bottom mode button that corresponds to this mode button on the camera to scroll through the modes. You can go to single photo mode, burst mode, time lapse, setup menus. You can change settings, and you can also use the red circle, which is the shutter button. That corresponds to the top shutter button on the camera. You can start recording videos. You can stop recording. You can take photos. It works in all the modes, just like the shutter button on the camera. You can also turn your camera on and off by using the remote. So when it's connected, you can just push the mode button like you would on the camera to turn it off. Hold down the mode button. It'll turn off the Wi-Fi and the camera simultaneously. And you can see that the Wi-Fi is still on your camera. So you can turn it back on when that light's flashing after you've set up the initial connection. If you're done using the remote and you're not going to be using the camera for a while, I suggest turning off the Wi-Fi so it doesn't use up battery. You push the side button on the left side here, and you'll see the blue light flash a bunch of times, and then it'll turn off. And the next time you want to use it, you can turn it back on again by pushing that button again. You'll see the Wi-Fi indicator light come back on. And now you could use your remote to turn your camera on again. So you just push the mode button. It's going to turn on the remote first. look for the camera, and it should turn the camera on. Now the LCD screen and the remote again are going to sync up. When the Wi-Fi remote and the camera are connected, you can still use the buttons on your camera. And if you go to the settings menu, there's a nice shortcut that works with the camera. Say you're changing your video settings and you want to change to 1080, you want to change it to 720 at 120 for example. You can shortcut back out of the setup menu by holding down the shutter button on the camera. However, this doesn't work with the remote, so that only works if you hold down the shutter button actually on the camera. And then you're back to the video mode. So that's an easy way to get out of the setup menu. You can also turn off the Wi-Fi indicator light if it's getting in the way of some of your shots. To do that, you just go through the menu to the setup menu, go to the wrench, and go to the setup here, and where it says the LED light option right here, if you turn it off to off there, that's going to turn off the LED lights and it'll also turn off the blue light. On the back of the remote you'll see these grooves where you can actually insert Velcro, where you can strap it around your wrist, you can strap it around a pole. You can also insert attachments through this attachment ring down here, the metal ring. So anywhere like a necklace. There's a lot of ways to attach this, and because it's waterproof it's very versatile and handy. Here's one way that I've connected the remote to a pole cam that I made out of PVC pipe. I just put a coupler on there for a little ledge, and then I used 2 pieces of Velcro that were cable ties that I had around the house. And now I can actually just hold on to the bicycle handle grip here and push the shutter button when there's some action, and I can shoot photos and I don't have to be able to reach all the way to my camera. So I can shoot a quick burst of action photos. There's really a lot of things you can do with the Wi-Fi remote. I hope you enjoy it and have fun.